Hey guys, so just a reminder, your STAR exam is May 8th, unless you are taking AP Spanish, in which case you are taking the STAR exam May 7th. Okay? Alright, so we are here, we're talking about photosynthesis and cellular respiration today. Alright, so I know this was a really rough topic when we went over it, but I'm going to try to break it down so it doesn't seem as scary. This little page here, or this box, is just for reference. I'm not going to go over it. It's just for you to look back if something if something I say doesn't make sense. Alright, so we're going to start right over here. We're talking about photosynthesis and cellular respiration. So anytime that I see either of these words, I'm going to write my acronym or my annotation. So photosynthesis, remember, is walk OG. So that means that water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide are reactants, and then oxygen and glucose are products, and cellular respiration is opposite. It is OG whack. Notice that here in photosynthesis, I'm using sunlight as my energy, and then here in cellular respiration, I'm producing ATP. ATP, remember, is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine is just part of this molecule up here. It's attached to ribose. Remember, anything that ends in ose is a sugar. And then it has 3 phosphate groups, hence the tri is 3, and then phosphate 1, 2, 3. There's a bunch of energy that's stored within especially the phosphate group. So if I broke specifically these last 2 phosphates, a bunch of energy would be released. Those are supposed to be lightning bolts, don't judge me. Energy. Alright, specifically chemical energy. So we need ATP literally to do every process that our cell does. Alright, so that is cellular respiration's job, to produce ATP for our cells and our bodies to function. We can see here, if we go back, photosynthesis and cellular respiration work together. So if I follow this diagram, all right, if sunlight is hitting a leaf, so this is a plant, photosynthesis happens in plants. Plants need the sun, that's how you can remember it. And then they release oxygen and glucose. Now that oxygen and glucose, we breathe in oxygen, so respiration happens in animals. Okay, animals, so they take in that oxygen and then they release carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide and water, and then the process starts all over again. So we're going to summarize what I just said in this table. So we're going to do photosynthesis first down here. So for photosynthesis, the compounds used. Used means reactants. So anytime you see what's being used in this, you're going to write reactants. Reactants, remember, are to the left of the arrow. So in photosynthesis, if I look at my annotation for photosynthesis, I'll look to the left of my arrow. I have water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide. My compounds produced or released, these are my products. This is going to be to the right of my arrow. So if I look, that's oxygen and glucose. Photosynthesis happens, the organelle, in a chloroplast. Remember, only plants have chloroplasts. Alright, for cellular respiration, my compounds used, so if it says used, that means my reactants. If I go to cellular respiration, I'm looking to the left of my arrow. That's oxygen and glucose. And my compounds produced, those are products, right of my arrow, are water, ATP, and carbon dioxide. This cellular respiration happens in the mitochondria. That's why we call it the powerhouse of the cell, because it's producing all of this ATP. This happens in animals. Now, I want to tell you one last bit of information about cellular respiration. So just write this on the side here. There are 2 types of cellular respiration. There's aerobic and there's anaerobic. aerobic is with oxygen, and anaerobic is no oxygen. Aerobic cellular respiration goes through glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport chain. It produces a lot of energy. So this is more energy. It's like 36 molecules of ATP, whereas anaerobic is less energy, only producing about 4 molecules of ATP. All right, so that's a big difference. So there are 2 types of cellular respiration. One is with oxygen, that's aerobic. One is without oxygen, that's anaerobic. Anytime you see these 2 words, you're writing these things. All right, let's go through and annotate this question down here. It's asking, which of the following gases do plants use? Use means reactant. During photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, I'm going to write walk OG. All right, that means if it's asking what's used, it can only be water, sunlight, or carbon dioxide. The only one of those I see is A, carbon dioxide. ATP is an in photosynthesis, glucose is a product, and oxygen is a product. All right, so what you are doing is you are annotating and answering the rest of these questions. Make sure to get them signed by the end because this is for a grade. Have fun and get started.